Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Ryan Prosick. Police are investigating a shooting in Sugarloaf Township. Police responded to reports of a shooting Tuesday morning outside the residence at 10 Rock Hill Drive. Sugarloaf Police Chief John Winters confirmed that shots were fired and it is considered an isolated incident. No injuries have been reported and there is no active threat to the public at this time. One suspect involved in the incident has been taken into custody. Another suspect has been taken into custody on unrelated charges. The identities of the suspects have not been released at this time. Winters said weapons were recovered at the scene, including several shotguns and rifles. An investigation is currently underway by Sugarloaf Township Police with assistance from Hazleton, Butler Township, and Cunningham Police. Stay tuned on WYLN News for updates on this developing story. Hazleton Police say several males forcibly entered an apartment building on Saturday while armed with weapons. Officers say they were dispatched to the 400 block of South Poplar Street around 8 p.m. for a reported burglary. When police arrived on scene, a victim told officers that the men had been armed and had forced several occupants into one apartment before fleeing the scene. Police say this was an isolated incident and that the investigation is still ongoing. A man has been arrested in Williamsport following a standoff where a pregnant woman was held hostage. According to the Williamsport Bureau of Police, Rynell Brooks Brown was taken into custody after officers responded to a report of a disturbance on Monday morning. Police say the 911 caller reported that a pregnant woman had locked and barricaded herself in a bathroom after Brooks Brown threatened her with a gun. When officers arrived on scene, police say Brooks Brown denied them entry to the residence. Crisis negotiators say they attempted to contact Brooks Brown using the victim's phone to convince him to release the victim. According to police, Brooks Brown and the victim exited the apartment soon afterward, and Brooks Brown surrendered peacefully. A firearm was seized from the scene, and Brooks Brown was taken into custody without further incident. Brooks Brown has been charged with unlawful restraint, possessing instruments of crime, recklessly endangering another person, terroristic threats, and other related charges. He is currently behind bars of the Lycoming County Prison on $300,000 bail. A prison guard from Clinton County is being accused of sexually assaulting an inmate. Kelly Lynn Fye is facing charges after investigators say she engaged in inappropriate contact with an inmate at the Clinton County Correctional Facility on 3 separate occasions between September 8, 2023 and February 10, 2024. Fye has been charged by state police with 3 counts of institutional sexual assault and is currently behind bars of the Clinton County Jail on a $50,000 monetary bail. Police in Courtdale are investigating a hit-and-run incident. Police say the offending vehicle was driving north on Courtdale Avenue when it drove off the roadway, crashed through a fence, and damaged 2 residences. The incident occurred at approximately 3:30 a.m. on February 18th. According to police, the suspect then fled the scene in the vehicle. Police say the vehicle likely sustained major damage and that parts of the vehicle were left behind at the scene. If you have any information regarding the hit-and-run incident, you are asked to call Courtdale Police at 570-287-2725. Anthony Russo was arrested by Bloomsburg police following a traffic stop on January 21st. According to police, Russo was pulled over by officers on Catherine Street around 1 a.m. Following an investigation, officers discovered that Russo was driving the vehicle while impaired and did not possess a valid license. Police say Russo also refused to take a chemical test of breath at the scene. Russo was charged on February 19th with a felony count of driving under the influence of alcohol. The offense was classified as a felony due to Russo's past DUI convictions. A man is wanted by Wilkes-Barre Township Police after he stole items from Target. The suspect pictured above is wanted after police say the man entered the personal care aisle around 6 p.m. on February 19th and picked out 2 items. Officers say the suspect took 2 personal massage devices valued at about $80, removed them from their packaging, and hid the items on his person before leaving the store without paying. According to investigators, the man then re-entered the store and met up with another person who was seen pictured next to a dark-colored van or SUV. If you have any information on the identity of the suspect, you are asked to call the Wilkes-Barre Township Police at 570-208-4635, extension 268. A man has been arrested on an active warrant. Brandon Weaver was taken into custody after Bloomsburg police noticed a suspicious vehicle around 3:30 a.m. on February 17th. Police say the vehicle had been parked illegally on the 200 block of West 1st Street, and that Weaver was one of the passengers inside. An active warrant was out for Weaver's arrest in Snyder County, and he was taken into custody. Officers also reported that Weaver had been in possession of methamphetamine at the time of the incident. Weaver is facing 1 count of possession of a controlled substance and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia in connection with the incident in Bloomsburg. Coming up on Wyln News, the Hazelton Area High School Marching Band is selling tickets for Designer Purse Bingo. Plus, the Wilkes-Barre Township Police Department is hiring. But first, take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Ezra. I'm 5 years old. It's partly cloudy out here and a little cold.
Weather Kids is brought to you by Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazelton. Your health deserves a partner.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
Hey, it's Justin from Grand Central, and our trained sleep professionals are here to help you sleep like never before. With an extensive line of Sealy and Stearns & Foster mattresses, we are sure to find you the right mattress at the right price. Free delivery and removal, interest-free financing for up to 60 months, and same or next day delivery on select models.
And don't forget, everyday low prices. Stop in to one of our 2 locations,
Route 93 in Escapec,
Or downtown Hazelton.
and see why Northeast and Central Pennsylvania sleeps better with Grand Central.
There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 for more information. Like and follow WYLN News on Facebook for the WYLN News Midday Update, posted daily between noon and 2 p.m., powered by Lehigh Valley Health Network. When it's serious, there's only one health network with seriously innovative health institutes. Lehigh Valley Health Network, your health deserves a partner.
Welcome back to Wyln News. The Hazelton Area High School Cougars Marching Band is hosting a Designer Purse Bingo. The bingo will be held at Faith United Church of Christ at 21 Faith Drive in Hazelton on March 24th. Doors will open at 11 a.m. with the first game beginning at 12:30 p.m. The event will include 10 regular games and 2 special games with over $5,200 worth of prizes. To purchase tickets, you could contact a member of the marching band or call Brian Belitsky at 570-401-0430. Tickets will be $25 in advance and $30 at the door. The event will also feature food, a bake sale, a 50-50 drawing, and tricky trays. All proceeds raised through the event will benefit the Hazelton Area Cougars Marching Band. Wilkes-Barre Township Police have announced that they are seeking applicants for a full-time police officer. Anyone interested in applying can pick up an application at 150 Watson Street in Wilkes-Barre. The deadline to pick up an application is March 8th, and the civil service exam will take place on March 27th. If you have any questions regarding the position or how to apply, you could stop by the Wilkes-Barre Township Police Headquarters at 150 Watson Street or message their Facebook page. Pennsylvania students are invited to take part in a statewide art competition that is being held to raise awareness for Lyme disease. Students from all over the Commonwealth, from grades 1 through 6, can enter the contest by submitting a video or poster about avoiding exposure to ticks, checking for ticks, and tick removal. The deadline for entering the contest is March 15th at 5 p.m. Submissions can be emailed to the address shown on screen or can be mailed to the Department of Health, Bureau of Epidemiology at 625 Forster Street in Harrisburg. The finalists for the competition will be announced by May of 2024. Only 1 entry per student will be accepted, and only original artwork is permitted for the competition. Coming up on Shenandoah's News Choice, we recap NBA All-Star Weekend on Let's Talk Sports. Plus, we learn about prescription drug disposal in this week's segment of Police Talk. So stay right here because we'll be right back on WYLN TV.
And you will love the feel-good feeling you get when you shop at Grand Central in Nescopeck and Hazleton. You will enjoy a no-pressure professional sales staff, experienced delivery crew, service after the sale.
And don't forget, everyday low prices.
No matter what you're shopping for in your home, we have you covered with top brand names like Flex Steel, Lazy Boy, England, and Dillon Custom Rugs.
With our enormous selection and the flexibility to finance interest-free for up to 60 months, Grand Central makes it easy to make your house a home.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Watch PTN on WYLN.
WYLN TV 35 is expanding and is on the hunt for a dynamic salesperson to join our vibrant team. If you've got the passion and the drive, we want to hear from you. Send your resume to the email displayed on your screen. Don't miss this great opportunity.
The Castle Auditorium Community Arts Center will be presenting the United States Air Force Heritage of America Rhythm in Blue Band at the Hazleton Area High School, Friday, March 15th. Doors open at 7, concert starts at 7:30. This event is sponsored by the Pasco L. Shivo Memorial Fund of the Luzerne Foundation and the Hazleton Elks Lodge Number 200. This concert is free, open to the public. Tickets can be picked up at Boscov's and Laurel Ball in Hazleton, and tickets will be available at eventbrite.com, and a limited number of tickets will also be available at the door.
This week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, my beloved coach and teacher Cy Fulton is going to be on the show, so stay tuned for a lot of words of wisdom.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Hey! Did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network.
Welcome back to a Tuesday edition of Let's Talk Sports. We're going to talk some NBA action today as they wrapped up their All-Star Weekend festivities Sunday night with the All-Star Game, obviously. All-Star Weekend, Friday to Saturday to Sunday, all events in between. It's a great competition, a great gathering of the NBA's best, mind you. Obviously, we didn't talk about it yesterday because we recapped 298 for the UFC action, which was insane, and I'm kind of glad I chose the UFC over NBA All-Star Weekend. We're going to get into why in a little bit, but we're going to start off with All-Star Weekend's Friday night first, and we're going to stay focused on the celebrity game, which is why a lot of people tune in. And can we stop having professional athletes from other sports play in these games? I know they're celebrities. They definitely are. They definitely qualify. Don't get me wrong. But Micah Parsons almost dropping 40 points in the win is just ridiculous. He was the MVP for Team Shannon Sharp, who won 100-91 against Team Stephen A. Smith. And, you know, Puka Nacua wasn't far behind, and CJ Stroud had a monster effort for the other squad, almost putting up 30, while Puka Nacua put up 17 points in the victory. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of neat little things going on, like the Heat Up Challenge in halftime, where 3-on-3 3-point competition, and those three players, whoever won, gets their scores doubled for the first 5 minutes of the second half. And then there was a bunch of other power-ups in there. It was really cool, you know, a unique twist on it. It was fun to see these guys and girls having fun out there on the court. So Friday night, Celebrity game gets an A from me. It was a lot of fun, and it was just a great watch all around. It was enjoyable. Saturday night, not so much. We're going to get into what the league should do in a little bit. That's the big question that's been asked all around the interwebs as of late. But we're going to start with Steph versus Sabrina in the WNBA versus NBA three-point competition. I'm giving this one an A. It was absolutely amazing. Steph, of course, put up 28 because he's the greatest three-point shooter of all time. But Sabrina was not far behind him with 26. And if she would have shot in the three-point competition, the actual one, she would have tied for first in the first round. So an incredible effort out of her. And I think Caitlin Clark should be in this next year because she's just an insane athlete for women's basketball. And she just does things that shouldn't be done on a basketball court by anyone. You know, breaking the record, the scoring record all time for the NCAA for a logo 3 is kind of insane. But anyway, we move on to the actual three-point competition. I want to give this an A, but it's teetering on a A- B+ kind of grade. It was a great event. Damian Lillard wins for the second year in a row. Karl-Anthony Towns might have been shooting 2s, but that court was so distracting. I know Starry was a sponsor, but the court was just glowing yellow and green, and that had to be distracting to the shooters. Obviously, it was still a great competition, but oh, goodness gracious. The LED floor was a choice. I'll just say that much and leave it there. But now we move on to the night or part of the night that it's not so highly rated. The skills competition, it was okay. I'll give it a C+, maybe a B-. It just wasn't really a draw. Anthony Edwards shooting left hand, it was pretty funny, but other than that, it didn't really draw my interest. So that's all I have to say for that one. And as for the dunk competition, here we go. Matt McClung wins it again over Jaylen Brown in the final. He jumped over Shaq as his best dunk of the night. Sure, it's cool jumping over Shaquille O'Neal because he's really tall. But what happened to the competition that I love? Honestly, a couple years back, Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine in that epic throwdown. They were just dunking with those, I don't know what they're called, the little part bikes that you just go on with your feet and you zoom around in. I forget what they're called at this moment, but there were just so many crazy dunks, and it was probably one of the greatest dunk competitions of all time. And every year it's just going downhill, downhill, downhill. Jaylen Brown was a nice entry to see a star compete, but you know they're bringing out Matt McClung for anything dunk related. So I'm going to give this event a D-. Yeah, harsh grade out here. They need to fix it. I mean, maybe you could increase a prize pool. There's no terms of advantages you could offer up for a dunk competition. You got to incentivize the stars to do it. You got to incentivize some really creative dunks because it just feels like it's been going downhill. And the NBA needs to fix it because when you look back on this weekend, the dunk contest was the last thing people saw Saturday night. It was an overall decent Saturday night, counting the three-point competitions, but just went downhill after that. And everyone remembers the dunk contest, and it leaves a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. So NBA needs some fixing to do. And speaking of fixing, they need to fix the All-Star game. Sure, it's fun and all, but it's Damian Lillard did win MVP. I will give him that much. It was a great showing from Damian Lillard this weekend. He was trying his butt off, and he got he earned it. Let's just put it like that. It was well deserved because, of course, he tried. So did Karl-Anthony Towns. He dropped 50. Tyrese Maxey tried. There was a couple of players that tried, but then there was a couple of players that were just chucking it from half court. And yeah, it's cool, fun to see and all that, but remember the game we got years ago after Kobe sadly passed away, the target score to 24, the lead team at the end of the game, or the start of the fourth quarter, mind you. You had to hit 24 points from that score, the leading score. It was tied, coming down in the end, and they were just playing iso ball, and they were really trying hard, and it was incredible to watch, and it just doesn't feel like that electricity is there anymore. So I'm going to give the All-Star game as a whole an F. Yeah, I'm dealing out failing grades today. You could get at me in the comments or whatever you'd like to do. But it's just one of those things the NBA needs to fix this and fast before it goes away. Sort of like what the Pro Bowl is doing in the NFL. They had flag football. It was okay. It was all right. I'm not saying it was terrible. They have dodgeball and all those fun events, which are actually really fun to watch. But the NBA needs to do a lot, and they need to do a lot quick with the All-Star weekend. So I'll update you if they do anything on that front throughout the year. But that does it for this edition of Let's Talk Sports. We'll see you next time.
Your guide to everything Pocono Mountains is PTN, the Pocono Television Network. Watch PTN on WYLN.
WYLN programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online.
When you need surgery, excellence and experience matter. So does staying close to home. At Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton, you get it all. As part of Lehigh Valley Health Network's Institute for Surgical Excellence, we have the most experienced surgeons and advanced technology, including robotic-assisted surgery. For you, this means getting back to normal life. Whether it's general or orthopedic surgery, you have a local surgery partner you can trust, a partner committed to excellence. Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton, your health deserves a partner.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35. There's no better place to shoot than Whitetail Preserve. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 for more information. When you see news happening in your neighborhood, call WYLN News at 570-459-1869 or email us at news@WYLNTV.com or send us a message on social media through Facebook. WYLN, we're your local network.
Welcome back to Police Talk Tuesday. I'm here with Jessica Sirkin, Public Information Officer at Hazleton Police Department. Jessica, how's it going?
It is going great.
So we're going to talk about the Drop the Drugs event campaign today. So tell us a little bit about Drop the Drugs.
So Drop the Drugs is, we have two spots that you can do it. We have the main bin at our station, but then we also have a van that goes around to events that you request, and you can bring any of your unused or unwanted drugs that were prescribed to you, and we can dispose of them the proper way.
Mm-hmm. And then how do you go about that? Do you just show up at the participating event or the bin? How do you go about that?
So if you're going to use the bin at the station, you go ahead, you show up on the 13th Street side where we take our walk-ins. You can put them in like a Ziploc baggie, peel your labels off the bottle, anything like that, drop it in. We'll collect it later and dispose of it. If you come to one of our events, you find the officer at the van, tell them that you have drugs that are no longer needed and you would like to dispose of them. We go ahead and assist you with putting those in the bin, take them back to the station, and do the same thing as the other bin.
And why is it so important to, dispose of these drugs properly?
It's important to dispose of them properly because, one, we don't want them to get into the hands of somebody who doesn't need them. God forbid a child grabs them or they find their way onto the streets. We want to make sure they're disposed of correctly, not flushing them down the toilet, sending them into our waterway system, things along those lines. We want them to be disposed of where there's no risk or effect to any other person.
And if you want the van to show up at one of your events or one of the city's events, how do you request it?
So they are requested, right now it goes through our evidence control system. They're the one who kind of gets the events and the emails sent in, and then he goes ahead and rearranges all of the officers and where the van needs to go.
And is there anything else you'd like to add about the Drop the Drugs van or just in general?
So we ask that you don't put liquids, any kind of needles, things along those lines inside either of the stationary bin at the station or the mobile van, and that if you do have any prescription narcotics that you want to get rid of, you please take your name off the label. It doesn't matter if they're expired, not expired. We will accept them if you just throw them into a Ziploc bag and drop them in. But we ask no liquids, no needles, no inhalers, things like that.
Well, a lot of useful information today, stuff that you could follow, and of course, to dispose of your drugs safely.
Yes.
I'd like to thank Jessica for joining us on Police Talk Tuesday, and we'll see you next time. If you're just tuning in, here's a recap of our top stories. Police are investigating a shooting in Sugarloaf Township. Police responded to reports of a shooting Tuesday morning outside the residence at 10 Rock Hill Drive. Sugarloaf Police Chief John Winters confirmed that shots were fired and it is considered an isolated incident. No injuries have been reported and there is no active threat to the public at this time. One suspect involved in the incident has been taken into custody. Another suspect has been taken into custody on unrelated charges. The identities of the suspects have not been released at this time. Winters said weapons were recovered at the scene, including several shotguns and rifles. An investigation is currently underway by Sugarloaf Township Police with assistance from Hazleton, Butler Township, and Cunningham Police. Stay tuned on Wyln News for updates on this developing story. Hazleton Police say several males forcibly entered an apartment building on Saturday while armed with weapons. Officers say they were dispatched to the 400 block of South Poplar Street around 8 p.m. for a report of burglary. When police arrived on scene, a victim told officers that the men had been armed and had forced several occupants into one apartment before fleeing the scene. Police say this was an isolated incident and that the investigation is still ongoing. A man has been arrested in Williamsport following a standoff where a pregnant woman was held hostage. According to the Williamsport Bureau of Police, Rynell Brooks Brown was taken into custody after officers responded to a report of a disturbance on Monday morning. Police say the 911 caller reported that a pregnant woman had locked and barricaded herself in a bathroom after Brooks Brown threatened her with a gun. When officers arrived on scene, police say Brooks Brown denied them entry to the residence. Crisis negotiators say they attempted to contact Brooks Brown using the victim's phone to convince him to release the victim. According to police, Brooks Brown and the victim exited the apartment soon afterward, and Brooks Brown surrendered peacefully. A firearm was seized from the scene, and Brooks Brown was taken into custody without further incident. Brooks Brown has been charged with unlawful restraint, possessing instruments of crime, recklessly endangering another person, terroristic threats, and other related charges. He is currently behind bars of the Lycoming County Prison on $300,000 bail. A prison guard from Clinton County is being accused of sexually assaulting an inmate. Kelly Lynn Fye is facing charges after investigators say she engaged in inappropriate contact with an inmate at the Clinton County Correctional Facility on 3 separate occasions between September 8, 2023 and February 10, 2024. Fye has been charged by state police with 3 counts of institutional sexual assault and is currently behind bars of the Clinton County Jail on a $50,000 monetary bail. Police in Courtdale are investigating a hit-and-run incident. Police say the offending vehicle was driving north on Courtdale Avenue when it drove off the roadway, crashed through a fence, and damaged 2 residences. The incident occurred at approximately 3:30 a.m. on February 18th. According to police, the suspect then fled the scene in the vehicle. Police say the vehicle likely sustained major damage and that parts of the vehicle were left behind at the scene. If you have any information regarding the hit-and-run incident, you are asked to call Courtdale Police at 570-287-2725. And that does it for the news. Remember, the source matters now more than ever. Catch all the latest news and updates on our YouTube, Facebook, or at our website at wylntv.com. Stay with us for a look at the weather.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.